Well, hey, Jefi, great to see you. I am excited to dive right in on the topic of the day.
Ooh, stagflation. How exciting.
I know. I don't know how we get excited about that, but I think y'all are realizing that there's a lot of headlines about the economy right now and inflation, stagflation. You're starting to see that. I saw greedflation. They're trying to, whip up new sayings. So we wanted to talk about stagflation and what it means.
Yes. So our end goal after this 10-minute takedown is to have you feel comfortable as your client's trusted advisor on a great talk track for explaining Stagflation. So here we go. We're just going to rip right into it. Let's start with what it is.
All right. So again, 3 key points we're going to hit is what it is, what it means, and what do you do. So we're going to dive right into what it is. So stagflation, it's a term that came from the 70s, and it's when prices are rising because you've got inflation, but the economy, because the Federal Reserve is trying to slow things down, they're raising interest rates, and that has the potential to throw the economy into a recession. So you've got the economy stagnating and going down while at the same time costs are rising. That's technically what it is.
Right. And a great example of that is that Compass just laid off 10% of their support staff in a preemptive strike to keep their business profitable. So you're going to be seeing that in the news. And every time you see that, what that is that's companies readjusting. There's a really good article on Target as well, and we'll link that one just so that you can take another layer of understanding this information. All right, talk track number 2 is what does it mean?
Okay, so what does it mean? The employment market, again, is shrinking and interest rates are rising. And so you've got, high commodity pricing. So you've got, and I blew this one.
Here, let's just pause for a second and he can cut it here.
Okay.
Hey, Michael and team, just go ahead and cut this.
Yeah, because we want to keep everything. We're going to cut and we're going to go back to what it means.
That's we're going to start over on what it is, what it means. Okay, ready?
So hold
Let's
on.
give it a little bit of space.
I got to check my notes real quick. So we're just thinking. I don't know if it makes sense here. Okay. What it means.
Okay.
All right.
You ready?
Do it. Yep.
Okay. Okay, so let's give them talk track number 2, what it means. How would you explain this to your clients? What does stagflation mean to them or mean in general?
Yeah, exactly. So when you talk about what it means, what's happening is that normally when the economy is slowing, the Federal Reserve is lowering interest rates to try and stimulate the economy. The exact opposite thing is happening here is that the economy is slowing, yet the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates to make that happen. And it can get a little out of balance to where they haven't totally killed off the inflation. So it's like trying to get the fever to break. So they used to call it the pain index, where you've got unemployment rates that will start to rise a little bit while costs are still going up. And people can become impatient, and rightly so. They're just like, hey, we need to stimulate the economy. Things are expensive and people are losing jobs. We need to get things going, but they've got to kill off the inflation.
Right. So here's something really interesting, because Ed and I, as you know, we track our numbers, and the prices in my micro market, which is La Mesa, California, right outside of San Diego, we currently have now jumped up to 1.1 months of inventory. We have been well below that for a long time. However, the pricing is still going up. So this is kind of one of those things where this is a great example of stagflation, is pricing is continuing to go up, even though interest rates are going up, trying to get things to slow down. So at some point we're going to hit a good even point. Here's one thing we were talking about yesterday when we were preparing for the show. You can share with your clients too that a normal inflation is 2%. And you mentioned that we're currently 8 to 9%. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're right at like 8.8, somewhere in there, just under 9, and that's
Right.
why you're seeing all these move. It's like, hey, we got to cool this down. So interest rates are going to continue to go up, which is, I guess, what we're going to get to point 3, right? Is what do we do?
Right. What do you do? So we want to here's something else you can talk to your clients about. Okay, so go ahead and run with that one, Ed. What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do, client?
Yeah. So when you're, first of all, call your clients, get in touch with them, because it's on their mind, and kind of walk them through that. Yeah, interest rates are going up. Historically, the average interest rate over the last 40 years has been 8%. As of this recording today, we're around 6.25% national average on 30-year fixed.
So still lower. Still lower than the average.
Yeah. And it's going to go, it's going to continue to go up because they've got to kill off this demand, if you will, to bring prices down. You want to educate them on what's going on in your local market, of where your inventory sits in pricing, just as Jefi did. In our market, we're still at 0.8 of a month of supply, with equilibrium being at 6 months. So there's a lot of room before you're going to see wild, more homes available than buyers. So that's one point. And, I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I fully expect that interest rates will be at 7% or higher by the time the year ends. I just think that's going to happen, because if the historical average is 8, why would it be any lower than that if you're trying to cool things down? So I think you're going to see rates start to creep up there. So for buyers, they want to be looking for opportunities to buy and lock in those rates.
Exactly. So that's why it comes to that last one, where really you should be talking to your potential sellers about selling now, because the difference between what they'll make today and what they'll make by the end of the year is completely unpredictable at this point. At today, when you're calling them today's the 15th of June. So, when this pod goes out, we have still not enough homes for the amount of buyers, even though the interest rates are higher. So once those numbers start shifting around, we'll have sellers bringing pricing down. And so you're doing your sellers a favor by educating them and calling them now. Right.
Yeah. Educate, understand what their objectives are. It's still a very tight market, and it's still a heavy cash-driven market. We're seeing a lot of cash offers still. We all know that. So it's a strong market, but the Federal Reserve is trying to slow it up, and there's still a lot of slack in the system before we get to where there's more supply than we would like. So there's a lot of room. I'm quite frankly kind of excited for my buyers who've been struggling to find something to buy, that if we ease it up a little bit, you'll have some choices. You won't be rushing in thinking you got to make a decision in 30 minutes whether you're going to buy a home.
Right. And we talked about this before too, but another really good thing to talk to your clients about in regard to stagflation is that we're going to see longer market times. So things that they're used to, this comes back to that whole education piece. If you really take the time to call your database, call your people, get them calm, because the more information that they have that's not media information that's getting paid for by advertisement, and it's coming from you, their trusted advisor, the more calm they will be. And that's a ripple effect in your communities. One of the things Brian Buffini talked about is get close to your clients. Get back to the basics right now. Get close to your clients, focus on customer service, and improve your efficiency and processes. So if you are a little bit slower than you have been in the last couple of years, take this time to really immerse yourself and work on your business.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's stagflation in a nutshell. We welcome your comments on that, but kind of work through that talk track and be able to talk about the fundamentals of your market, because kind of like politics, all real estate is local. So you want to know your numbers and be able to tell them exactly what's going on.
That's a good analogy, mister. Hey, don't forget to like us and share us. And you can also watch us on YouTube if you want to see our silly faces. All right, everybody.
There you go.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.